Hey guys, Strong Style Studios back again. It's your Strong Style Studio champion, Alex.
Justin, the Orange Dream.
And it's me, Noah.
And we're here with another episode of Running the Rope. We have put this off for long enough, but we got a lot to talk about. We got WWE stuff, including most of the card for SummerSlam kind of put together already, including the main event, which we were very happy about. A lot of stuff about TNA and a little bit about ROH, including some trouble there. And we'll wrap it up with a little bit of Jim Cornette talk. So let's start things up with WWE, which the first thing we want to talk about is the main event for SummerSlam, the second biggest show of the year for WWE. And the main event is Daniel Bryan versus John Cena for the WWE title. Yes, that's awesome. That's like a dream come true, and well deserved for Daniel Bryan.
Yep, he's earned it. He's been the most over guy as of late. I think they couldn't ignore how over he was getting, especially when the entire arena is doing the yes chants.
And he's having consecutively the best matches on the show.
Yeah,
definitely.
I think just being a workhorse as well is paying off, very much in the vein of kind of a Shawn Michaels, just getting noticed by his work in the ring.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm super excited about this. This is great. I honestly, if someone would have told me this a few years ago, I probably wouldn't have believed him.
Yeah, this is great.
This is really exciting. I can't wait to see this match.
Me too.
I do have a slight nitpick because that's what I do.
Yeah.
I just found it kind of funny that they didn't have him win the Money in the Bank. Instead, they made good guy John pick him.
Yeah.
John Cena's got to be the biggest babyface, so he's going to pick.
Well, if that's the way you're going to get John Cena over, I'm okay with that.
I mean, it was kind of a weird way to do it, but
whatever.
Hey, I'll take it.
Well, the one thing about that though is he was kind of people's choice, so it was like he's the most. They're having it as like he's got the people behind him, kind of, but Cena's still a good guy.
Yeah.
So I'm okay with that.
Well, I know a lot of people are very weary about the match because they were just assuming that Randy Orton's going to cash in and win the belt as soon as Daniel Bryan wins, which he's probably going to win. I'm kind of betting on that, but for me, it doesn't matter. Daniel Bryan, the guy who was an indie nobody, had no charisma, did not belong in the WWE, was never going to make it, is now main eventing the second biggest show of WWE's year for the WWE title against the biggest star in the company. He's made it. There's no question that he's made it now.
But I wouldn't have a problem with that.
Yeah.
That would really be upsetting.
It would be upsetting, but at the end of the day, Daniel Bryan has made it to that level of a main event star.
You would not be. You won't.
I know.
Yeah,
I want to say it now and get it out on the record that I'm happy for him and he deserves it, and I hope he wins that belt. I hope he makes Cena.
He holds on to it for a while.
I hope he makes Cena his bitch. I hope he makes him tap.
I would be happy with a clean or any victory, honestly.
Really?
Mr. Small Package for the win.
Clean. They've been putting over the small package pretty heavily.
Yeah, they have.
Yeah.
I just gotta say, I'm really excited for this match, even regardless of outcome, just because I think it's gonna be a very good match. I think it's gonna have great big match feel to it, great atmosphere. These are the two most over guys in the company going at it on in the main event of SummerSlam, a worthy main event for SummerSlam.
Yeah.
A matchup people have been wanting to see for a long time as well.
Mm-hmm.
Two very different styles going at it. Just a lot of this match has a lot going for it.
I agree. I'm glad they didn't drag in the Bella Twins like they were originally going to think about doing that. Thank God for that. We don't need those.
It almost makes sense, unfortunately, but good thing they didn't.
Yeah. Well, just because it makes sense doesn't mean you should do it.
Right.
Agreed.
All right. Also on that is the semi-main event, which will be Brock Lesnar, the Beast, taking on the best in the world, CM Punk. I'm super excited for this match, mainly just because of how great Paul Heyman and CM Punk's promos back and forth together have been going on Raw. They are really getting me hooked for this match. I am super hyped for it.
Honestly, this match pretty much that's true, but you don't need to sell me on just hearing about Lesnar versus CM Punk is I'm there, you know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah.
But yeah, that definitely even adds fuel to the fire.
Mm-hmm.
But this is going to be awesome just because you've got Punk is very big. He integrates MMA into his style, so it's going to be a kind of an MMA style integrated into the match. It's also going to be a good psychological match. To Paul Heyman, the whole Paul Heyman factor. Heyman is going to be awesome in this match, as could be expected. So I just expect this to be a lot of fun and have some brutality as well.
I mean, I expect there to be a stipulation named eventually. I don't know.
I mean, I hope there really isn't a stipulation.
Okay.
It doesn't really need one. You know?
Yeah.
This is one of those matches that I really don't see how this could be bad. The only thing that could possibly go wrong is if Axel gets involved. I mean, other than that, this match should be awesome.
Overbooking would be the only.
That's
Yeah,
exactly. And I'm super excited for this match too because when Brock Lesnar originally came back, this was a matchup that it looked like originally they were never going to plan on doing.
Yeah.
You know, there was Cena and Triple H, and then Triple H again, and then
you'd
Triple H forever.
you'd assume like Randy Orton or somebody.
Yeah.
Or the Undertaker
Yeah.
or someone.
And so when this now that this is actually happening, I'm super excited for that.
Yeah, I'm
And
excited.
yeah, it has a sensical build up to it too, which
Yeah.
is nice. It's not just a random match.
Yeah, I've been loving the promos that Punk and Heyman have been dishing out. I mean, just they've been top notch. All right. Also on the show, we will be having. Oh, actually, this would be spoilers. Do we want to talk about that right now? Or the SmackDown spoilers?
Well, SmackDown already happened.
Yeah.
Okay, well, whatever.
Saturday.
Well, no, this taping takes place for the next week.
Okay, how will you say spoilers?
Okay,
Skip
spoilers.
the next 5 seconds.
Yeah.
5 minutes.
Alberto Del Rio is going to be defending the world title against Christian. Now, a lot of people are going to be upset because they obviously want Del Rio versus Ziggler to happen, and for Ziggler to finally get the belt he should never have lost in the first place, probably.
I gave up on that.
Yeah.
notion.
Terrible booking for that.
Yeah.
Honestly, I don't think they can
They
do
can't
it
go
even if
back
they
now.
wanted to.
But they will. You know they will.
I mean, down the line, but I think that they didn't do Ziggler any favors with that booking.
No.
No, not really. And the one thing that bothers me the most, like, is
They
like
didn't do Del Rio any favors either.
No.
Really.
the one thing that bothers me the most about that build-up is just like that Ziggler doesn't seem like upset that he got screwed out of the belt. You know, he's cutting promos about AJ or Big E Langston. You know, he seems kind of like happy. It's like he doesn't really seem like he doesn't bring the fact that you cost me the world title. You know, it should be a major factor in the build of these two guys' match, which is probably gonna happen at SummerSlam. But I don't have as much of a problem with this match just because Del Rio is actually a pretty good worker. Christian is a really good worker, so they'll have a fun match. You know.
I mean, yeah, this should be a good match, but
Yeah.
I mean, these are, like you said, two good workers here. Christian's a veteran. He's always been able to pull together good matches.
Right.
But for me, I haven't been into Christian since he got, since the Orton
Burial.
yeah, just disaster.
Yeah.
I felt like he's never recovered from that, and I don't know if he ever will. I don't see him as a credible world champion, even though he's won it before.
Well, for 2 days.
But it should be a good match.
Yeah.
But it's not anything I'm really particularly excited to see.
Granted, this pay-per-view's already sold itself. You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah,
Like,
I mean-
this could main event on SmackDown too.
Yeah.
Right,
Be
yeah.
fine with that.
Yeah, I mean, just there's not a whole lot of interest for me in this match, even though I know it's going to be a good match, just because I'm pretty sure Del Rio's going to win. If he doesn't, it's kind of out of nowhere. It'll be out of nowhere for Christian, so I don't think this would be an appropriate time.
Well, the thing is, like, they keep hyping up the idea that Christian wants one more match for the world title. It's like, well, that, who doesn't want one more match for the
Why
world title?
one more? Why just
I don't know.
yeah, he
why
wants to
can't
win
he have
and
a
just
couple more?
Yeah.
then he'll
I
win
don't
and
know.
just
He
quit.
claims he only needs
He's not
one
that
more.
old.
I know. I don't know. I'm just telling you what they do. Also, matches that look like it's going to happen is obviously Ziggler versus Big E Langston, which I'm not too frustrated about. I'm frustrated that Ziggler's out of the world title picture, especially in such a shitty way. Like, he never really lost cleanly to Del Rio. But I am enjoying the build up for this match, and I think that Ziggler will get a good match out of Big E Langston. I think Big E is actually a pretty good wrestler because I've seen a lot of his NXT stuff, and I thought him and Del Rio had some good matches together. So I think this could be good. I think this could be the match that Big E kind of needs to put himself out there as a guy worthy of being on the top roster.
Yeah, well, I mean, Ziggler is obviously one of the better bumpers, and if he can't make your offense look good, I don't think anybody can. So
I think that's a good point.
yeah, we'll see.
This should be pretty solid. I mean, it's going to be a mid-card match,
Yeah.
obviously, so it should fill out the mid-card pretty nicely.
Mhm.
The only thing I'm worried about is I have a feeling it's going to be a lot like Ziggler's most of his matches is where he's not getting in a lot of offense.
Yeah.
And I think in the long run that's going to hurt him because he right now should be looked at as a semi-main eventer, if not a main eventer, and
Right.
Langston is not by
No.
any stretch of the imagination on
No.
his level. And I feel like Ziggler should control this match, and I don't see that happening, especially with Ziggler being the face.
Yeah.
So I just don't like the dynamic of it going in, but hey, they could surprise me. This is one of those matches where I don't have a lot of expectations, so if it's good, great. If it's not, well.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, exactly. And then another match that looks like it's going to be taking place is Damian Sandow and Cody Rhodes in a match. This is kind of revolving around Damian Sandow, quote-unquote, stealing the Money in the Bank win from Cody Rhodes at the Money in the Bank pay-per-view last month. I'm actually really enjoying the build-up, how they're doing this, because they're actually giving a mid-card feud a lot of attention, a lot of build-up, and I'm excited for that. I think that's nice. I think it's probably the best thing you can do for Sandow and Rhodes is to give both of them a nice little feud to kind of build both of them up at the same time. So I'm enjoying this.
Is this for the briefcase, or is it just?
They haven't announced the match yet,
I'm
but
guessing it will be.
there looks like it's gonna be for the briefcase.
Oh, okay.
I believe it will be, and yeah, like Alex said, I wasn't. I still think Cody should have won the briefcase.
I think so.
Right? But it is nice to see an actual feud that makes sense. It's not for the world title, but it's involving a shot at the world title.
Yeah, making winning important.
Yeah, and it seems like they haven't had many actual, fleshed out feuds for the world title in a long time. Really, they've had some feuds that the guys have just had a number of matches, but
Right.
they didn't really have like a feud that really.
Ironically, I think
That's true.
I think the last feud that actually for the world title that actually got build up and like a storyline was probably Jack Swagger and Del Rio, and we all remember how good that was.
Yeah.
That was a month worth of build-up.
Yeah, it wasn't
Yeah.
a long build up by any means.
No,
So.
but it was build up at least.
Yeah. I think this is good for both guys really, just to be in a somewhat featured feud.
Yeah.
I think hopefully they do the right thing and put Cody over. I believe they will eventually.
I'm kind of the opinion that like I don't like the idea of Sandow winning the Money in the Bank briefcase and then losing it to Cody Rhodes, because I think that would cheapen it for Cody Rhodes to win it that way. But either way, I think it'll be fine.
What would a loss do for Cody though?
Well, Sandow's a heel. You can cheat, But I'm just saying, like I don't know. They're kind of booking themselves in the corner here.
But I just think if Cody loses, it'd be harder to justify him getting back in the title picture.
Yeah, I know. But
As for me, I think that this should be a solid match.
Yeah.
I think this is going to be one of those matches where you're going to see quite a bit of stalling, actually. But personally, I'm okay with that because this is going to be one of those where Cody, he wants nothing more than to get his hands on Sandow.
Mm-hmm.
But Sandow, he plays that role of a chicken shit better than anybody.
I agree.
It actually makes sense
Yeah.
for him to
Yes,
do
he's
it.
one of the few heels that it's perfect for him.
Yes.
And I think that that's going to be the story of this match is Cody, like, get him back in the ring. I want to get my hands on him, and you can just feel it. And when he finally does, I think that's when you're going to see that connection with the crowd. And this could be a huge thing for Cody. It might elevate him the way that winning the briefcase would have. It might even be that effective or more.
It's a big stage. It's have more time to build up the feud between the two. So more storytelling in the match. So it could very well be good.
If they get time, this should be.
I'd expect to give maybe like 12 minutes maybe if they're generous,
Sure.
which I'd be fine with.
Yeah.
All right. And there's also a number of other matches that are like looking up in the air, which we're not going to comment on right now. But there is one group of people we want to talk about, which is the Wyatt family, which debuted a few weeks ago. It features Bray Wyatt, Luke Harper, and Eric Rollins, I believe. Rollins.
Yeah.
Okay. I've been thoroughly enjoying this stable. I think they're really good. I like the dynamic they've kind of set up is that Bray Wyatt is the leader and the mouthpiece, and that Luke Harper and Eric are just the muscle, and like they had a really effective squash match against Tons of Funk on SmackDown. So, and actually, like they did this one thing on Raw. I think it was last week, where they came out and they cut a promo or whatever, and they basically like it looks like they're kind of trying to like, get inside of Kane's mind or whatever. So I'm kind of interested what they're gonna do with that.
I really enjoyed that promo too.
Yeah, I can't remember exactly what he said, but like basically just talking about like how like there are no such things as heroes and blah 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 blah.
And the one thing you can tell that Wyatt knows what he's doing on the mic, and it's because the crowd listens. He's a heel, and you still get those what chants, but those slowly started to die off as he was talking. and people started to listen. And that's when you know that you're being effective. Because the fans they stopped caring about getting themselves over and were actually engrossed in what he was saying.
Yeah.
And I thought that the following, I don't remember if it was a match or attack on R-Truth.
Yeah.
That was great.
Yeah, I kind of like that he wanted R-Truth to hit him,
Yeah.
and kind of inciting him to attack him.
And the way he did his finisher,
I love
kiss
that.
on the forehead.
Yeah, that's great.
And Kane followed the buzzards.
Yeah.
Everything I thought was really good. I wasn't a huge fan of their debut, but after that, next week I saw what they were going for. I really thought that it was effective.
I think Bray Wyatt has actually been someone who's benefited a lot from spending a lot of time in developmental to work on his character and really hone it, because he's got it pretty much down. It's not just a guy being thrown in a new... Sometimes they have a guy in developmental for so long, they slap a new character on him and then put him, when they bring him up, it's like, that doesn't make any sense.
Right. Yeah.
And Bray Wyatt's had a lot of time to develop his character, and he's pretty much got it down while he's up here, so he feels comfortable in the role.
I agree. I'm very glad WWE kept that character for him.
And I think that there's just limitless possibilities for the Wyatt family.
Oh yeah.
I mean, feuds, you could think of just so many feuds.
Oh yeah. First, and also love their entrance. That's probably one of the coolest entrances in WWE right now.
It's pretty cool, yeah. I like how at the end there's that little flash.
Yeah.
After their segments.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry to.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm so bored by it. Yeah, I'm so bored by it.
But at the end they do like a flash of the video. I think that's really cool.
Yeah.
Very
effective, and we're really enjoying it. Well, let's talk about something we're not really enjoying, which is TNA.
That's always the segue.
I know it is. I like those segues. It's fun. TNA. Where do we start? Well, let's start with something actually kind of good and kind of bad. Last week, TNA had their Destination X TV special, which featured Chris Sabin cashing in the X Division title to challenge Bully Ray for the TNA World Title. Going in, I was pretty excited for this match because I didn't figure Sabin had a chance of winning, but I thought that this was a chance for him to show that he deserves to be in the main event spotlight, maybe. Well, what followed was a 10-minute burial match of Bully Ray just beating the shit out of Chris Sabin, destroying his legs, Chris Sabin getting in a few kicks and offenses, the Main Event Mafia and Ace and Eight feud basically stealing the spotlight, and then Chris Sabin winning with a hammer to the head to win the TNA World Title.
I don't
Where
get
to
it.
begin?
I don't get it. That's all I can say.
Fuck TNA. That's where I begin. First and foremost.
You wouldn't imagine Chris Sabin winning a world title would be such a shitty thing as it is.
Like before, I don't want to take anything away. I mean,
Not
Chris Sabin's a great
no.
athlete.
Yes.
He deserves everything, all the accolades he can get.
This was the wrong circumstance.
Right.
Yeah, I just felt like they put him in a situation that didn't help him.
No. Chris Sabin is a great wrestler, a very underrated wrestler in my opinion. I think this is
great worker.
Great worker.
Part of one of the great tag teams of the last several years.
Yeah, absolutely. One of the best of all time, I'd say. And a guy who's never gotten a chance in TNA, I don't think, to be a big star by himself. So this was really nice for him, but they didn't book it in a way that made me say, yeah, Chris Sabin's now a top guy. It was like Chris Sabin got lucky.
And especially since this whole Aces and Eights storyline has been building for so long, and this whole Bully Ray winning title was so built up to, and this is how they end his reign, not with like part of the storyline they've been using, just,
Yeah.
Chris Sabin just beats him
out of nowhere.
The X title.
Yeah. There were so many things about this that just didn't make sense to me as far as booking. Like you said, it looked like this Aces and Eights feud was building towards a culmination, and it was just, there's going to be this one final thing.
Yeah.
But now it's just been completely
out of nowhere.
Well, maybe. They're doing a rematch coming up at a TV special again called Hardcore Justice. They have 2 Hardcore Justice this year, I guess, because one wasn't enough. And it's going to be Bully Ray versus Chris Sabin in a steel cage match, which it would absolutely not shock me if Bully Ray won the belt back.
Not at all.
No.
I'd say it's almost likely, actually.
Yeah, I can see that.
Which, it just makes no sense. It's like, they already put over the whole cashing in the X title last year when Aries won. Yeah. So they don't need to do that again.
This was a year where I was like, I would be okay with Chris Sabin losing.
Yeah, they can show the risk. They can show the risk of cashing in the X division.
And I think that honestly, in the long run, it would have done more good for Sabin to have a very, very competitive match and lose. That would have elevated him. He would have been at the very least, he would have been the pinnacle of the X division, and you know, upper Carter. You know, you could see him bouncing back and forth. Now, he just looks like a guy that kind of fluke won the belt.
Yeah.
And this is really what it comes down to. And what it comes down to me is what it looks like is just TNA thought it was just such a fantastic story that he came back from the knee injuries that like, oh, let's just give him the belt. And you know, it's nice. It's a nice thing to do. Yeah. But it's not a smart thing to do. I wouldn't say.
TNA is all about having those moments. They don't understand why the moments are there, or the build up to it, or what to do with the moments. But they just want those moments that fans remember. Obviously, Chris Sabin winning was a big moment, but there's nothing much else to it.
Where do they go from here?
Yeah, exactly. You know, you have that spotlight moment, but like, where does it go from here? What's going to happen days to days? What's going to happen with Chris Sabin? Who's Chris Sabin going to face next? You know, that's the stuff that you'd be worried about, but it doesn't have any clear path right now.
You know what? Unfortunately to me, hopefully they're not doing this, but it looks like Sabin's going to lose the belt back to Bully. And then now that he's won a world title, he's allowed to be part of the main event mafia, so he's going to get brought in.
Ooh,
like that's really like the only way they could think of bringing him in.
Everyone's fucking dream to become part of the main event mafia.
Apparently.
Yeah.
So,
you know, everyone wants to be like Rampage Jackson, and you know.
But it's unfortunate because I thought personally, I really enjoyed that episode of Impact.
Yeah, that was a good episode of Impact. And then that main event,
I thought it was building nicely. I was like, all right, now we're going to get to the main event, and then it just kind of just flatlined, and it was boring. I mean, when I say boring, I mean it was boring. I literally fell asleep at one point.
It was pretty bad. It was the longest heat segment I've ever seen in a match.
That's all it was. It was a heat segment and a hammer shot.
Yeah, it was bad. All right. Well, the following week on TNA Impact, we had Manic, aka TJP, TJ Perkins, winning the X Division title, which is nice for him. Well deserved, I think. Very talented guy. Here's my question though: why the hell is TNA keeping him in the suicide costume? We've seen him unmasked. He did an interview with the TNA cameras, unmasked. Why is he wearing the mask when he wrestles? Does the mask help him wrestle better? You know.
I guess they're saying it's his alter ego.
That makes sense. Well, then you shouldn't be showing yourself without the mask then.
Well,
it's
that's saying his alter ego. I know the mask is him.
But the thing, and also,
when you cut promos right before your match, like, okay, now I'm about to be my alter ego.
So you know it's him. So
yeah, okay. We got the attention span of a 5-year-old apparently.
It's like Superman putting on the glasses.
Whatever.
Except everyone knows.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Everyone actually knows.
Yeah.
I think it's cool for TJ Perkins though. He's been so underrated for so long. Him winning the title, it's something.
He's fantastic.
Yeah, he's a very talented guy.
One of the most underrated guys on the indie scene for a long time now. He's in TNA, hopefully getting a little love.
I would like to see it. Although, please just let him wear his stuff he wore when he was in Independence. You know, that stuff was fine. The gear he wore. But also, there's a little bit of sad news from TNA, which includes a lot of talent being released. Let's see here. We have. Well, first and foremost, let's go with the most controversial one, which was Jesse Sorensen. I believe 2 years ago. No, it was only 1 year ago, wasn't it? Just over a year. No, it was 2 years ago. Jeez.
2 years.
Yeah, jeez. Jesse Sorensen suffered a broken neck on live pay-per-view in a match with Zema Ion. He reconstructed surgery. He was fine. Could still walk and everything. He was perfectly fine. Was given like an executive position or like a office job, whatever, with the company.
Not an executive position.
Oh yeah, sorry.
But
he was a backstage guy.
Backstage guy. Yeah. Well, TNA fired him recently. A guy who literally broke his neck for the company, who didn't get a chance to come back to television, which I'm not really upset about because he wasn't that good of a wrestler to begin with. But it's like, wow, that is probably the worst publicity you could have for a company right there.
But why not give him a chance to come? Honestly, because they like build up his return for like years.
Well, the thing is, I've heard different things about it, but it sounds like they gave him the job backstage, and apparently they were paying him more than a full-time staffer, and he worked like 3 or 4 days a month.
Yeah.
So he was making more money than he should have been making backstage.
Well, then that's their own problem for not writing a good contract.
On top of that, I guess he was more interested in getting back in the ring, and it looks like that's just really not possible.
Right.
Now, he has come out and said he's taking indie bookings, but I don't think he's medically cleared. And as far as the people backstage have said, is that it's a bad idea that he should ever come back, and it's probably true. He probably shouldn't.
No. Even if it's your surgery is successful, you're still never going to.
I mean, I guess the question is just releasing him and how that looks. Maybe they should have allowed him to step down or something. You know what I mean?
Give him another offer. Say, hey, this isn't working for us. We're gonna have to restructure it for you. You know.
Yeah.
But
firing a guy
out, cut him loose.
That's bad.
Yeah.
But again, it seems like it might have been one of those situations that they really couldn't do much about once they were in it.
Yeah.
But it looks bad. It just
looks
like
shit. That's the thing. I mean, we're not there. We don't know the whole situation, obviously, but just how people are going to react to it, you know.
Other people released include Christian York, who I was really surprised to be released because they pushed him so heavily when he first debuted.
He was doing pretty well.
Yeah, I thought he was doing really well.
Yeah.
Impact and stuff.
I thought if you put him in a tag team, he'd be great, you know.
Even just beefing up the X Division needs
beefing up big time. Joey Ryan, which I'm not really sad to see because TNA wasted him, and just go back to PWG.
I'm actually kind of bummed because I would rather not see him in PWG. No offense, I just feel like I've seen him do everything, and his commentary is atrocious.
Yeah, please don't put him back on commentary, but you know, I don't mind if he's in like a 6-man match, whatever. You know, it's fine. Taylor, what was her name? Taylor Hendricks. Yeah, she got released too. Madison Rayne, who was pregnant at the time. She's pregnant right now, and she got fired by TNA.
That sounds about right.
Yeah, that seems about right. And that's kind of sad because I actually thought she was a good, heel. And
I think that's worse than the Sorensen thing. Honestly.
Probably, yeah. Firing a pregnant
that's
chick.
fucked up.
Yeah, that's really fucked up.
Especially she needs that money right now.
Yeah.
So she's trying to start a family.
Yeah.
So
Crimson, which I was surprised about because TNA shoved him down our throats for over 300.
Then he's gone for like a year. They bring him back, let him cut this promo about how he lost one match and then he was gone, so now he's back. Then he loses another match, he's gone forever.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if I've ever seen anyone have a plummet like Crimson from an undefeated streak.
The thing is, the thing that bothered me with that undefeated streak was, if you're going to do an undefeated streak, you need to have a purpose. You need to have an end goal for this undefeated streak. TNA didn't have that. All that Crimson had was the undefeated streak, and that's it. That's nothing else.
Pretty much.
Yeah. So it was just them trying to have a guy undefeated for no reason whatsoever. So they're just dumb. And personally, I didn't like Crimson that much to begin with.
No, he had nothing. He had nothing.
Yeah.
Nothing.
Doc of Ace and 8 was released, which surprisingly actually worked because he was shown to be mad because he got turned down for the VP status of Ace and 8. So who gives a fuck? Anyway, yeah, he's gone now, which is whatever.
Yeah.
Tara is released. She was the highest paid knockout in the company.
She was good too.
Yeah, she was really good. I always liked her. Matt Morgan was released, despite TNA constantly trying to push this guy for years, and
it just never worked.
Never worked. I don't know what.
The fans liked him.
Yeah.
They just, I don't know. It's like they just wouldn't commit to pushing him.
Yeah. He kept putting him in stupid situations like Joey Ryan's like he was gold.
Yeah.
Drawers.
Hogan's cape or whatever.
Yeah, some cape he wore for at Madison Square Garden or whatever. And who was the other one?
Bruce Pritchard.
Bruce Pritchard, yeah, head of TNA Creative was released, or I think he quit. I think.
Well, they wanted him to they wanted to restructure his contract. He refused.
Yeah, so sorry, brother love. But I don't really care.
He can probably find a better job, honestly.
Yeah. Do you want
WWE will probably give him a job, and he'll probably have a crappier title, but he'll probably make more money.
Probably.
Yeah.
Probably get to work with actually decent wrestlers or decent people involved in wrestling. Eric Bischoff's going to be taking his job for right now. Good luck, TNA. You're going to need it, And last but not least, D'Lo Brown got fired as well.
Oh, my.
You know what's worse, though, about that is that he is one of the guys that they offered to restructure his contract. He did restructure it. The next day they fired him.
Yeah.
That's fucked up.
Yeah, nice fucking
knock.
They probably assumed he wouldn't go for it or something.
Let's lowball him.
Yeah, they probably did that. That's probably what they did.
Shit. Just drop him. Yeah. So I guess TNA had to make up some money to pay for Hulk Hogan's contract, Brooke Hogan, Eric Bischoff, those guys who contributed so much to TNA.
And they also have to make up for the fact that it cost them $600,000 to produce Impact on the road. That's for every taping.
Yeah. This is TNA's.
And they're not bringing in any higher ratings.
Nope.
The ratings haven't gone up at all.
No, it's still
And the
the
revenue.
low ones.
Yeah, if they're lucky.
And the revenue hasn't increased.
I believe the last Impact got a 1.05 rating. is
Yeah,
what I
it
read.
did.
I think it spiked for the Destination X one
Yep.
at like 1.12.
Yeah, something like that.
So,
yeah.
but it's really, about all these firings. It's unfortunate because the guys, it's the people backstage, the booking, the executives that just don't know what they're doing, and the people that get punished are the talent.
Yeah.
Yep.
When shit goes wrong,
Mm-hmm.
the guys that are doing exactly what they were asked of
Mhm.
are the ones getting fired.
Yeah.
And that's just ridiculous.
And
That's just
The
insulting.
thing that also sucks is like if it happens in WWE too, but people in WWE at least get the exposure, the name recognition. They have some money from working in
Yeah,
WWE,
yeah.
and they can always just go to TNA afterward.
Yeah.
Right.
But you have more options basically. You get fired from TNA, not necessarily.
You're basically going back to the indies.
Yeah.
With probably not making as nearly as well. I don't know. Maybe you're making more money. TNA's pretty lowballing you, I think.
I doubt. I don't know.
I mean, you could
Depends
probably
on-
make about the same amount, but you're
Yeah.
going to probably
You have to
travel
work
a lot
more.
more.
Yeah. Yeah. Also, another problem with TNA is like apparently they've been having trouble paying their guys like on time, which is nice.
It's always the
How's that
first
possible?
really
Yeah.
bad sign for
Yeah.
companies'
And
future.
there's also this really famous case. I think it was from I don't know what state it was. It might have been like Idaho or something like that or whatever. They were doing a show.
In Idaho?
Missouri.
Missouri, that's what it was. Sorry, yeah, you're right.
Not even
But
close.
whatever, one of those Midwest states. I don't fucking
No.
care.
No. No, it's still wrong.
Whatever, who cares? Anyway, so basically half the guys that were supposed to have wrestling license didn't have wrestling license because that was Bruce Pritchard's job, and then they already fired
That
him.
was D'Lo's job.
Oh, it was D'Lo Brown?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I heard Pritchard's job. Whatever. So basically, it was no one's job to do it right then at that moment, and yeah, half the guys couldn't wrestle, so they had a 5-match show which lasted 90 minutes, which is less time than Impact. Oh, but they did give a free autograph signing to people who didn't pay for it. People who already did pay for it didn't get their money back. And Jeff Hardy still charged $20 for his autographs and
He was
pictures.
the only talent that wouldn't do free autographs. Or what was it? He wouldn't do free pictures and he wouldn't sign autographs
Yeah.
regardless.
Yeah, go fuck
Um,
yourself, Hardy.
I mean, it's funny to me because this is the guy that made a complete ass of himself, the company,
The business.
the wrestling business, and then came crawling back and everybody gave him a second chance and now he's got
Second, third,
Yeah.
fourth.
And now he's
Yeah.
got this huge ego and he thinks that he's this big star, a big
Yeah.
shot. You know what? Fuck you, Jeff Hardy. Honestly, I don't know who you think you are, but you can't give back to the fans that actually stuck around
Yeah.
when they just got completely fucked over.
The only reason they keep bringing him back is because he has such a big loyal fan base.
Yeah.
And the thing is, this is to his fans. Why would you put up with that? Why would you, why would you keep following someone who really doesn't think that much of you?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, at least, if he's not gonna, if he's not gonna give back or anything, like, why should you give to him, like, you know what I mean, buy his merchandise?
Yeah.
And I guess to me, it just proves that this whole thing about being a changed man is just
Bullshit.
yeah, it's basically just bullshit.
Bullshit.
Yeah,
It's-
he might not be doing drugs anymore. Might not be doing drugs anymore.
Yeah, but
I
that
say
doesn't change
big
the
might,
fact.
but he's still an asshole.
Yeah.
So,
So
Sad to see because I actually used to like Jeff Hardy. I don't anymore.
yeah, I mean, he can be an exciting worker, but
At the end of the
there's
day.
a lot of people who could be in his spot and be just as exciting as he is.
Yeah.
I'm
Alright.
actually a bigger fan of his brother.
Yeah, at least his brother actually, knows his role in wrestling.
Really.
All
I'd
right.
rather watch Matt Hardy eat grapes.
Or lay in a bed of money.
Yeah.
Like that video he did. All right, and one last thing. TNA's hyping up a guy for August 1st, which is going to be coming and air his grievances up on TNA, on Impact, or whatever, or something like that. We don't know who it is. Rumor has it might be Bob Holly, and some people think it's Adam Pearce now. So we don't know. We don't really care.
If they're hyping it up, it might be a name more so than Adam.
The last name the last time they said they had something big coming up, it was Rampage Jackson. I don't believe any of the fucking hype that TNA has anymore.
Rampage X is actually kind of a big deal.
Big name.
Well, he
He's
ain't
probably a
done
bigger
shit.
name than most
I know.
of their roster.
He ain't done
actually,
shit
when,
the rest
when they
of
got
us.
Rampage, I thought he was too big for TNA. That's just me.
Okay, whatever.
He's
I think that they
movies,
totally fucked
MMA
that
star.
up. They've
Yeah.
already ruined
Yeah,
that.
well,
TNA screwed it up.
Yeah.
not
That had money on it too.
Yeah.
They could have made money off that, and they screwed that
Yeah,
up.
I guess that's a topic for another day. Let's switch over to ROH. ROH's not doing too well, but there's a light at the end of the tunnel with ROH. First and foremost, ROH is officially done with the SCUM angle. They lost the Steel Cage Warfare, which I believe is airing this weekend, which I heard was a pretty good match, so I'm probably gonna watch that. I was kind of surprised that the SCUM angle ended when it did, but I'm not saddened by it. I think it was a good angle. I thought it did what it was supposed to do, which is basically establish the new top guys in ROH, make Kevin Cena a babyface again, and maybe get rid of use these guys that were around and they didn't really have a spot for, like Matt Hardy, Red Titus, I'm not sad to see it go, and I enjoyed it while it was here.
Yeah, I mean, I just thought it was so short. It almost didn't have much of a point. I mean, it did
Right.
some things, but I think the thinking behind this is so many of these angles go way too long.
Yeah.
This one hadn't gone too long yet, but I think that was the fear, was that they didn't want to overstay its welcome. So, I mean, it's not a huge loss for me. It's not like I'm devastated by this.
Right. The only thing I thought about it was I remember being there for SCUM
Debut, yeah. It fell on
and,
anniversary.
and it felt like one of those things that this is going to be a big angle in the history of Ring of Honor, and I don't think it really will be remembered that way. It's
no.
It was not a bad feud by any means, but like you guys said, it never really
hit that extra
didn't
level.
peak.
Yeah.
It didn't even last
didn't-
only lasted a few months. Really.
Yeah, but I think the part of the problem was that
The rest of
SCUM
them,
just didn't have the talent. There was a reason that these are the guys that people booed before they were in this group, is because they just can't pull their weight in the ring. And if this was just a TV-based company, I think that's fine. I mean, this would have worked out fine if it was just TV. But the problem is you're trying to sell DVDs, you're trying to sell house shows, video on demand, and you need good matches. You need really good matches for people to go out and buy these.
And the only guy who could deliver consecutively good matches on shows was Jimmy Jacobs.
Right.
He was the only guy that was really going out there and wrestling. Everyone else was trying to be, heels and stuff.
But Compton did not do anything.
Ken Pond didn't do a
I'm
goddamn
sorry.
thing.
I gave him a chance, but I didn't see any wrestling out of him the whole time he was there.
That's one guy that was really overhyped.
And the thing is, and I don't feel like we're just picking on him because
No.
Because I had heard good things about him. So when he got here,
Yeah.
I was watching. I'm watching for it, and I saw nothing. Even
Nothing.
the multi-man matches, I don't remember him doing moves.
I
I can't name a single move he
Right.
did.
I think maybe one time he did a sidewalk slam.
That
I
sounds
think-
about right.
I think that's about it. Everything else was just elbows and
kick.
stomp. Yeah. But another thing that came out of the TV recently was Jay Briscoe defeating Matt Hardy for the ROH title. However, due to the severity of the shoulder injury that he had, he'll be out for 3 to 6 months. So ROH has vacated the ROH World Title for the first time in the 11-year history of the company. Now, I know you have an opinion on this, Noah. I want to say this right now. Yes, it sucks for them to vacate the title, especially when they had an opportunity to put it on someone else, even though it would be Matt Hardy, and people probably wouldn't like it, but whatever. To make it 11 years and not have the title vacated once is pretty damn good for an independent company, especially when you look at other companies that have been around much shorter and probably have vacated titles numerous times, So let's just keep that in mind before you go on your little rant.
That said, I want to hear this.
I do not like this at all.
Okay.
I think that it does nothing but hurt the belt, really. Honestly, I think, as many Ring of Honor fans do, that the lineage of the title was one of the things that drew you to the company. Really did. You can look back and think of every champion and who they lost the belt to.
Yeah.
And this is one of those things that it hurts. It hurts the belt, honestly.
Okay.
I can't really get past the fact that I just hate this. I feel like that anything would have been better. Dropping the belt to Hardy, honestly, I would have accepted that.
So did they know, okay, question before we continue.
Yeah.
Did they know Jay was not going to be able to continue when he faced Matt Hardy?
I'm thinking that maybe...
Yes, they did.
Okay.
I don't know. I'm not sure. I think that maybe they did.
It was the same taping, and then and they did the angle on the same.
But the one thing I think is, though, like, I think they knew, like, listen, if we give the belt to Matt Hardy, people are going to throw a shit fit. Like, so I think they were kind of like in a no-win situation. They knew that fans were going to lose it if Matt Hardy wins the belt. So they were kind of in a no-win situation, I think.
I don't know, because
if you heard as many people as I heard complaining about the possibility of Matt Hardy winning the belt, you would have said the same thing.
But I still think they could have at least turned that into something positive with having somebody beat him and make a big moment.
Yeah. I think there would have been plenty of people that
it wouldn't have been ideal, obviously, but I don't know. I mean,
what's done is done. You know.
I know vacating the belts, it's pretty irritating.
It sucks. You know. To me, it's when someone says vacate the title, I think of WCW. I think of just terrible, stupid shit that happens throughout the history of wrestling.
They didn't have very many good options, but I think one of the problems, I believe Jay Briscoe's title reign went on too long, too many defenses. Especially since he was hurt the whole time, really. So
it's like if
he was hurt when he started his title.
If he was that hurt, he should have had him lose to the best in the world to someone then.
Yeah, I mean, they could have really thrown anybody in there, and they could have had Elgin actually have his title shot that he had the number one contender match for and never.
Right, and the thing is, like, the belt has gotten so much prestige because guys have gone out there and fought through injuries. Like, now, don't get me wrong. I don't think that Jay should go out there and be fighting through an injury.
No.
Yeah. But I think it just hurts that, like, it just it partially negates a lot of the stuff that the guys went out there and actually put themselves through to make this thing such a prestigious title.
Yeah, I mean, in a way, it does feel like they're starting over with the title. In a way, like they're, you know what I mean? It just feels like they're gonna have to rebuild the prestige somewhat.
Okay. Well, now that we've gotten that out of the way, let's talk about the actual tournament, which is going to be, which I'm actually pretty excited for because it's actually a pretty good playing field that they're working with. The first round matches will actually taking place at the TV taping that's going on today. So the first match will be Adam Cole taking on Mark Briscoe, which, by the way, there was a big rumor that the Briscoes were leaving for WWE. It looks like now the Briscoes are going to be staying with ROH, so that means Jay will probably get his rematch when he comes back, which that's a pretty good thing. I'm very happy about that. That we will at least get to see the new champion, whoever it is, will have to beat Jay Briscoe and have to prove that he can beat the champion. So, we also have Jay Lethal taking on Sanjay Dutt, Carl Anderson versus ACH, which I'm really looking forward to that match. And then the next match, I believe, are taking place at All-Star Extravaganza in Toronto on August 3rd. It'll be Tommaso Ciampa taking on the winner of Adam Page and Silas Young, whichever one wins that. Michael Bennett taking on BJ Whitmer, Kevin Steen taking on Brian Kendrick, Michael Elgin versus Paul London, and Roderick Strong taking on Matt Taven in the first round matches.
Honestly, what stands out to me is the Elgin match.
Elgin London, that's probably gonna be a great match.
That's gonna be a fun one.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to this tournament though. I think there's gonna possibly be some good matches. I think we might get to see Ciampa versus Adam Cole, which I would really like to see.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of potential matchups that would be interesting, especially with so much on the line here. The title. Every match is a title match here, basically.
Basically, yeah.
Who do you think is going to win? I think I'm hoping and thinking Michael Elgin's going to win because that would be pretty good instant legitimacy for the new title, I would think. Adam Cole is a possibility. Jay Lethal is another possibility. I'm
going with Adam Cole and Michael Elgin in the finals, with Elgin getting the win. And I think with the amount of the stellar matches that Michael Elgin has been having all year and for several months last year, that I think that he will almost instantly grow that prestige right back to the belt. And I think that's going to help a lot. I just think he's a champion people can buy into. Well, Michael Elgin? You don't think he's a champion you can buy into?
I said he is.
Oh, okay. I thought you said you did. Okay. But I think that, like, and plus Michael Elgin for like the past few months has been having the best match on the pay-per-view, so I think that's going to help a lot. I think that's going to help a lot that, like, the best match on the show is the main event for the world title. So, as for me, when it comes to this tournament, it's
I'm sure that there'll be a lot of great matches. It'll be nice, but I think it's pretty predictable. I mean, outside of those three guys, I think anybody else has 0% chance of winning.
They probably shouldn't have a chance of winning.
I feel like if it's anybody but Adam Cole versus Elgin in the finals, that the finals will be really predictable. I mean, if Elgin's in the match against anybody else, he's gonna win. If Cole's in the match with anybody else, he's gonna win. That's just how I think it's that. It's come down to those two.
Okay.
I was disappointed by the tournament because I thought there would be like one really standout name.
Yeah.
You know, that would really
Outside.
Yeah.
Yes.
Outside name. Yeah.
Kenta would have been unbelievable. You know.
Not even that,
but
like,
you know, something.
Marufuji was one idea we threw out.
But this should be good. I disagree with what you said about. I don't. No matter who wins it, I don't think it's going to instantly bring any prestige back.
I think it's going to take some prestige back. Is what I think.
I think that's going to take some time. I think it's going to take title defenses.
Right.
Just because he wins. Let's say Elgin wins. If it's a great match, yeah, that'll definitely help. But I think he's going to have 2 or 3 great defenses to really reestablish it.
Okay. And I think Elgin's possible.
Oh yeah, I think he's more than
the guy. Yeah.
Yeah.
I will say that a lot of times we vacate a title, we'll just have like a random triple threat or fatal. Like this at least is a tournament. At least they had to beat somebody to be champion.
The only thing I'm disappointed about is I wish that they were doing the finals as they did for when they first introduced the belt, which was a fatal 4-way 60-minute Ironman match. That'd have been the best. I think that would have been awesome if they did that. But
I think my disappointment is that the American Wolves are not involved.
Yeah, that sucks.
I just don't understand why they didn't put him in it.
Why? Yeah, American Wolves not in the tournament over Matt Taven and
Mark Briscoe or
Brian Kendrick. I like Brian Kendrick, but he's not a world title contender.
No. Even Sanjay.
Yeah.
But I'm a fan of Sanjay.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong. But I mean, he's just.
He's just a good
we just
worker.
saw him on TNA not winning the X Division title.
So.
This is a bit more important than the X Division title.
Yeah.
Well, one other thing to mention about when we were talking about like pay-per-views and stuff is that ROH is not going to be doing live pay-per-views anymore for a little while. They're going to be just airing them on demand afterwards. Now, Noah, you were actually kind of in favor of this decision, though.
Yeah, I like this idea. I mean, clearly they either don't have the funds or they just don't have the means to figure out this pay-per-view thing, and it's been nothing but bad publicity. And you know what? I'm totally fine with them going away from it. I can wait a day to watch a show. If I really want to order like a big show, if I have to wait till the next day to order it, fine. And to me, it's smart for them to step back and say, you know what, I'm going to let all the rest of these companies figure this shit out. And when you do, we'll come back and do it.
Yeah.
But clearly, Sinclair Broadcasting doesn't have, they just don't feel like investing the money into fixing the problems.
Yeah.
And so.
Or don't even know who to go to fix the problem.
Right. So,
I'm kind of of the opinion that probably next year they'll probably have it fixed, hopefully by then. But if not, again, yeah, you're right. It's like I can wait a day for a show. You know what I mean? And I'd much rather watch a show the next day with no issues than live with a ton of issues, and I just got to watch the next day, and I'm gonna be pissed off.
Right.
My question is though, a whole day gap is almost like as good as like a month gap in today's kind of like internet based. Like people are going to be jumping on this, looking up results, and I'm wondering if it's going to hurt their viewership in a way, just because it does hurt the level of excitement when it's not live, even with the even given issues.
I mean, there is money to be made in live streams.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, that's ideal, definitely, because people are going to want to look up it and see if the show's worth getting.
Yeah.
But I think that in the long run, you're doing better for your name. They got to recover from this.
Yeah.
Because now it had gotten to the point where you say ROH pay-per-view and people just laugh. You know, it's just a joke.
It's kind of weighing on just people not buying it versus maybe less people. But I mean, because some people are just gonna say, "Oh, I can't watch it live. I'm just gonna wait for the DVD or whatever." But some people might just say, "Screw it. I don't want to watch some of the issues."
Let's factor in. Let's say they make this much money on a live show. and this much money on the video on demand, but then they give this many refunds. So
also one thing I want to point out is that maybe with the idea of people being able to look up results of the pay-per-view before you can buy it or whatever, maybe this will encourage them to make the shows better booked, put better matches on the show, matches that people want to see. So maybe this could help increase the quality of the shows. Is one idea.
Perhaps.
That'd be in a perfect world. That would make sense. All right. Well, last but not least, there was this Jim Cornette interview which was done a few weeks back, which me and Noah actually heard. Justin didn't. Which I really just want to touch upon it real quick, which is that Jim Cornette sounds like another bitter guy in professional wrestling, unfortunately.
Has he reached Bret Hart levels of bitter?
It's getting there.
It's getting there, yeah.
Basically, he did a lot of talking about, mainly it was about ROH and his time spent there. He talked about the Steen and Generico feud, talked about the fans, talked about mainly the talent, but it just was a lot of negativity. He didn't take responsibility for pretty much anything. He buried Steen and Generico's feud, which we've said numerous times is our favorite feud of all time.
That is the feud that got me into Ring of Honor. That was the feud that I heard about Ring of Honor before, but after I heard about the Steen and Generico feud, I said to myself, I need to see this. And that's why I became an independent wrestling fan. That's why I still am today. I own almost every single show that has a Steen and Generico match on it because of that feud. And sorry, Jim, I love that feud. I love you, Jim. You're a great guy, but I got to disagree with you on that one. That's a big thing.
I'll throw my 2 cents in. I'd say this is probably the best feud in the history of independent wrestling.
Well, absolutely.
Yeah, definitely. I'd say hands down. I mean, this is my favorite feud of any wrestling.
Me too.
But that said, yeah, he didn't like that. But one thing that really rubbed me the wrong way is that he said that, he blamed the fans for not being patient and...
Can I say something real quick about that real quick? He did make a good point, though, okay? He talked about how, fans were expecting them to have blow-away matches on TV, the first week, and I understand, you need to start things slowly with television, kind of try to build an audience, but here's the thing, okay? At the same time, you're changing Ring of Honor. You shouldn't be having these kinds of matches if this is what Ring of Honor is, because then you're not getting fans addicted to what Ring of Honor is. You're getting them attracted to what they think professional wrestling is. You should be trying to show them, well, this is what we think wrestling is, and if you like it, good. If not, well, then we're not for you.
See, I disagree. I think that the idea of we got to start slow so you guys can understand. We're wrestling fans. We know what wrestling is. If I haven't watched TNA in 2 years and I tune in, it'll take me 20 minutes to figure out what's going on.
Okay.
It's a wrestling show.
Okay.
People, if you're turned in, if you're watching it, you're going to figure it out. It's wrestling.
I agree.
It's not hard. You don't have to dumb it down for a new audience.
Well,
I totally disagree with that. They didn't have, they did a little bit on HDNet, but they were still having fantastic matches. So I just think that's a cop-out.
Okay.
I think that Jim refuses to take responsibility, and there's a reason that he has either been fired or has stormed out of any of the promotions he's ever...
pretty much asked to kind of take a... I think that was what kind of happened. People kind of asked him, take a back seat.
And I think that there's a reason for that, and it's because you're not as amazing as you think you are.
But, okay,
I love you. I respect what you've done, but I think you need to evaluate yourself a little bit too.
I mean, let me just say, both of you guys have made good points in terms of ROH product. I do think you kind of, have to change a little bit to appeal to a wider audience, but not go away from what your bread and butter still, because if you try to make it too accessible, you're just gonna end up being I can watch WWE, I can watch TNA. There's other stuff out there. So I do understand trying to reach a wider audience, but I just feel that they just went too far away from what they did best.
Exactly. And also, Jim Cornette had a very interesting comment, which was that is something along the lines of, in some galaxy out there, the Super Smash Bros. Are a bigger draw than Mike Bennett and Matt Hardy, but it's not here. First of all, Michael Bennett is
Michael.
Well, he goes by Michael now.
Yeah.
Mike Bennett is a pretty good heel nowadays. Okay,
Yeah.
but back in like 2011 when they started on television, Mike Bennett sucked.
Well, I mean, Mike Bennett has come a long way.
Yeah.
But I'll tell you this. He is not drawing a fucking dime.
Yeah.
No.
For
Okay.
these shows, so.
Yeah. Matt Hardy, I understand. Like, yeah, he draws in the casual wrestling fan, but he ain't gonna be the one that makes him stay. Okay. The Super Smash Bros are an interesting tag team. They're great wrestlers. They're entertaining. The fans love them. So yeah, they're a draw. They're more of a draw than Michael Bennett.
I mean, what did they do to you to get buried?
Oh,
I mean,
they're
Too goofy or something?
they're too goofy. They don't look like
But I
wrestlers.
mean, in this interview, what the fuck did they do to him to ever deserve to get buried like that?
They don't look like wrestlers apparently.
Being like the best tag team and not see the light of day in Ring of Honor.
Yeah,
maybe.
basically.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, the thing about the Super Smash Brothers specifically is no one's ever really, given them that kind of push.
No,
You know what I mean?
not even Gabe and Dragon Gate USA right now.
No.
The only person that's really given them a shot to be themselves is Super Dragon over in PWG.
And the thing about PWG is like that's mainly just wrestling, so they got to show off the wrestling talent, but maybe not their characters as much with interviews and segments and everything like
Which
that.
I've seen some of their character stuff like in like Chikara, like where they do promos and stuff. They're very good promo guys.
Yeah.
So, Jim, we still love you, but just learn to shut your mouth about stuff.
Yeah.
Go back to insulting Russo, and we'll like you more. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those. I haven't seen this interview, but commenting on the whole situation is just Jim is a great wrestling mind, but it's kind of like changing with the times.
Yeah.
Not so much.
All right. Well, that's it for now, guys, from Strong Style Studios. Thank you for joining us. Take care. Bye.